Welcome everyone. Welcome back. Sorry I've been busy. A lot of things happening in my business, in my life. All good things though. Very excited. And very excited to share them with you. So very awesome. This week has been a little hectic. Really, the previous 3 or 4 weeks have been pretty busy for me in my business. Like I said, all good things. This week I'm doing a lot of networking, which I'll be updating you guys on. But today is a very, very important talk. This is probably going to be one of my favorite talks, along with the 80-20 talk that I did back a couple months ago, and maybe talk about exponential technologies that I like also very much. And it's kind of funny because a lot of this stuff is related, and of course, you know, if you've been listening to my talks before, you know that I'm a big proponent that all things in business and life in the universe are related, and you can learn a lot of different things from other stuff. Let me just make sure that everything is displaying okay. Live video has been a little weird on Facebook, so I just want to make sure that we're okay. It seems like we are, so awesome. We're going to talk about one of the most important things in your business, if not the most important, because it hits to the core of why you are in business in the first place, or it should anyways, okay? So let's talk about briefly what USP is. So USP is, of course, an abbreviation. It stands for Unique Selling Proposition. Okay? Eugene Schwartz, back in the 50s, he calls this the unique mechanism. Other people, other authors call it MTP, Massive Transformative Purpose. It's a little different, but it's sort of on the same idea. Jim Collins calls it, he's a big business coach, he calls it the Hedgehog Concept. Again, it's a little different, but it sort of hits to the point of the matter. And the point of the matter, the point of this is basically to answer one question. And the question is, why should I buy from you? Okay? That's the question right there. And this is the question I ask my clients, and this is the question I ask my prospects, this is the question I ask myself, and this is the question I ask anybody that wants to start a business. Why should anybody buy from you? Why? Why you? And of course, I'm sure you're a great person and you have a great business, but you need to be able to communicate that to your client and or to your prospect, your customers, to whoever you want to do business with, okay? And this is very important because markets are becoming more and more commoditized. What does that mean? It means that people are more and more the same. If you've ever been, oh, by the way, I'm going to be in Mexico City this weekend. So if any of you are in Mexico City and want to have a chat, let me know. I'll be around. I'll be there for a little while. And then I'm going to Colombia for a while as well. So let me know. But thinking about that, I'm sure I'm going to see this in Mexico City when I go. I'm going to see a row of people lined up, and they're going to be selling fruits. And they're going to be the same fruit right next to each other. So again, that's the question. Why should I buy from this person as opposed to the other person? Now, in a commoditized market like that, the only thing that differentiates one business from another is price. And that's just no fun. You don't want to say, well, I have the cheapest price, because one of the purpose of business is to create and keep a customer and to create profit. If you got $1 for every dollar you invest in your business, you might as well not be in business. It's better for you to get a job, right? You want to be able to. This goes back to, you know, the beginning of civilization. Why did civilization start farming? Because it's more energy efficient to farm. The effort you put into farming gives you a lot more calories back than the calories that it burns to actually do the farming. Now, if you're a hunter-gatherer, that equation is much more balanced, and so it's almost doesn't make sense to be doing that if you can farm. Okay, if you're in a place that can sustain farming. The good one, the good book to do some research on that, by the way, is Jared Diamond, Guns, Germs, and Steel. It's a great one, and he makes some very compelling arguments there. But that's beside the point. We're talking about a unique selling proposition to answer the question, why should I buy from you? Okay? Now, for my clients, I take them to a specific 6-step process to create a USP on their product, or if they have several products on the different lines. Because again, you want to be different in the marketplace. When you're different in the marketplace, these are the things that can happen. Okay? So when you're different, you have control over price. And isn't that an awesome thing, to have control over price? You don't have to go out to your competition and go, okay, what are they charging? Well, I have, it breaks my heart when I talk to business owners and they say that they have very competitive prices. What does that even mean? Like, how is that? Anyways, what I'm saying is that you yourself, the one that are watching right now, you are unique. It's the wonderful thing about being human. It's the wonderful thing about being alive. We are unique. You want that uniqueness to communicate through in your marketing, obviously, because that's how people know about you, but also in your proposal, okay? And like I said, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell you exactly how to do this. It's sort of confidential intellectual information, but I'm gonna give you the gist of it so you guys can get started on having a USP. You also will be able to turn down unprofitable clients or customers. Okay? Not every customer, and if you've been in business longer than 5 minutes, you know that not every customer, not every client, not every prospect is a profitable one. There are a lot of people you might want to turn down. There's just not a good fit, and you want to be able to do that. But if you're so commoditized that everybody offers your business, if you're a roofer, or if you're a plumber, or if you're I met some people today, they worked they're in security. I also met some people, they were software consultants, real estate. There has to be something different. If you're a real estate agent, what makes you different? What? You have to be able to communicate that, and you have to be able to do that in a concise way that reflects on the wants of the market. Okay? One really good way to create a USP, and like I said, I have a 6-step process that I take my clients through, but just a little tip here is a guarantee. Have a guarantee on the stuff that you do, on the service you deliver. Now, this is not always the best thing to do. It's not a foolproof thing. It's not a formula, because as soon as it starts sounding canned, as soon as it starts fitting nicely into a box, again, commoditization, everybody's doing the same, and there it is, right? That's why we call it canned. Nobody ever gets up and says, man, I would love to have some canned food. Nope, that doesn't happen. Never. And you don't go to a restaurant and say, well, what are your prices here? Well, I'm going to go somewhere else. You go for the experience. You go because, man, this is a really nice place. You go there because of their USP. That's why. That's why we do businesses with the companies that we do. And that's why we pay money, sometimes a lot more than we would otherwise, because of this uniqueness about it. So you have to craft it yourself, okay? Now, I want to close this talking a little bit about why this is happening and why this will be more and more important as we go on, okay? Your USP reflects on everything in your company, okay? I like this other term, MTP, is massive transformative purpose, okay? And otherwise known as like a culture. This is so important, guys. If you're in business and you have no idea what your culture is, guess what? You have one. Everybody has a culture, but you want to be able to choose it. And if you don't choose it, it will be chosen by the people who are around. And sometimes it's a little weird. If you've ever been to like a business that it just feels a little odd, the receptionist, it feels a little odd. It's because of this. The culture is not clearly defined. And so the business owner started with this idea, but he never bothered to really communicate that or just sit down and think about these things. And so it attracted some people because, well, I need to hire somebody to answer the phone. Okay, so I'll hire Susie. And I need somebody to, deliver some quotes. And so I hired John. And so you have this mishmash of people that start to create this culture that is inconsistent. And when the culture is inconsistent, it just becomes very weird. And so what a good culture, what a good MTP does, it attracts the right kind of people to your organization. Because you have it's very clear. If you are in business I'm just going to make some money. Well, I'm sorry, but you are in the wrong place. You should not be doing that. And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, and I'm sorry if that sounds, but that is the truth. Because, have you ever heard the term B2C, business to customer, or B2B, business to business? Well, let me tell you what it's better than business to business or business to customer. Human to human. Because in the end, that's all we have is just humans. And humans, we don't do well with canned. We don't like canned. Nobody, like I said, nobody wakes up and says, man, that can of beans sounds amazing today. Every time you think about customization, every time you think about something that's a little different, that's appealing. That's cool. You want that, and you have a higher design value. So if you have customers going to you and asking you, what is your price? That's a dangerous proposition. You are being commoditized. And the customers have the right to do that because, again, they just see a bunch of fruit vendors and they're like, well, how much is that versus over here? And so if that's the only difference between you and the next guy, well, you have no choice but to engage in a price war. And nobody likes that. That's no fun. Okay? So that's very important. Now, this will continue to happen more and more and more and more. Why? Because everybody pretty much has access to the same information. That's the truth. If I want to start a business, let's say I'm going to install pools, or I'm going to do the taxes, right? How interesting is that, to do taxes or to build a pool? It's not very interesting. And all the information that I can gain about it, I can go Google and find it. There's nothing that you don't know right now that you cannot grab that phone and stick it in, put it in, and find out what it is. Really. And so, since everybody has, nobody's controlling the information anymore. Information is more and more democratized, and it's just everybody has the same. So everybody starts to sound about the same. Everybody in marketing and their own messages, free consultations, all that. That's not a USP. That is not a USP, and that makes you the same. And so what the customer is wondering, well, how much do you charge? Well, how much do you charge? Well, how much does that guy charge? And then they want to bring that all to the table and then make a decision on the cheapest one. Okay? Because they think they're getting the best value. I can tell you, they're not doing that with a heart surgeon. I can tell you that. I can tell you, they're not doing that with the phone that they buy. Some might, but a lot of them are not. A lot of them have loyalties, have things that they think are cool, and they want to pay even more premium price they're willing to do it because it's different, because it identifies with themselves, with their strategy. So USP, guys, very, very, very important. Massive transformative purpose, create a culture. So if you have not done this, I'll close up the video. If you have not done this in your business, you have some decisions to make. You as the business owner, or if you're in charge, or if you're the marketing director, or if you have anything to do, if you're some kind of decision maker, this will be a very important thing for you to stop and think. Is the culture here clearly defined? If I were to pick up a brochure, some kind of a catalog, a little paragraph, would I be able to tell that's little paragraph is from my company if they had no logo in it? Right? What is my message? Is there a story behind it? All these things are very important. These are the things that make people compelling, and these are the very things that make companies compelling and lasting. This is not a gimmick. I assure you, people don't just want to work for a company and make a paycheck. They may say that they do, but they do not. We gravitate to things that have meaning and purpose. And if that gives us meaning and purpose, it's a much more powerful motivation than a paycheck. It's very important. Plus, that if let's say you were a real estate agent and you had a mission, like let's say you came from humble beginnings. Maybe you are the first of your family to get a college degree, and then you got into real estate, and so this story, people need to know that, and you're in a mission to have more people, maybe from your own demographic and from your own socio-economic strata to get ahead and or be a first-time homeowner. And if you really live it, and if that's really you, don't do it if it's a lie or not true. But if you really live it, this has a purpose, and then you hire people with this MTP in mind, and those people have the same kind of motivation, and they feel like their work, their everyday struggle, has a purpose, a human right here, right in the heart, purpose. And when that happens, that's a beautiful thing. You will have a team that is self-motivated, and people that maybe have other motivations, or they're just not a good fit, they will not fit in right away and they'll fall off. I'm telling you, having the right people in your team is probably one of the most crucial things, probably second after having this culture, this MTP, this USP, very defined. Why are we in business? If we are just in business to make money, then we really have to rethink that, okay? See you guys next time in the next video. Thank you so much. Keep sending sending comments, sending me private messages. Like I said, I'm gonna be in Mexico City this weekend for a while, and then I'll be going to Colombia. So be sure to send me a message, and if you're around, I know that I have different people that follow me from different places. So if you're around and you want to get together, we'll have some coffee or have a little chat, okay? And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.